Appreciate it, Coach. Oh, yeah, baby, here we go. Hey, man, I'm fired up, man. Hey, welcome to the University of Southern California. My name's Andrew Smith. I'm one of the assistant strength and conditioning coaches here. When this opportunity to present today was brought to me, I was trying to think about something that could provide you guys that you could take away from today, apply to your program tomorrow, and start to have immediate success. And so it came to my mind, programming simple workouts to optimize performance. And it's two key words that I'm gonna emphasize this entire presentation. And it's how simple can we be while optimizing human performance. Keep in mind, this is not the USC football strength and conditioning program. This is a format for success that you could take, apply to your athletes tomorrow, and start to build them from a physical standpoint. All right? Hey, so you met the staff, man. Phenomenal group of coaches, and even better men of character. Coach Benny Wiley, our director of performance. Coach Brian Keggins, our associate director of performance. Coach Cesar Martinez, our assistant director of performance. Coach Caleb Withrow, our assistant strength and conditioning coach. And then Jackson Polk, our assistant director of sports science for football. Every single day, man, blessed to work with these individuals and learn constantly how to develop better systems for our guys. Below their name is their social media handles, Instagram and Twitter. Reach out to them, DM them, pick their brain. I guarantee you, in the long run, it will benefit you. Super fired up to be here, super fired up to work with these guys every single day. A little bit about my background. Started at the high school level. All right, head strength and conditioning coach at a high school in New Jersey. I was also assistant football coach working with the defensive line. We had a football team full of soccer players, and we lost every single game. And that's partially why I'm a strength coach and not a football coach. But it was a great experience. Moving on from there, I worked at a performance facility called Parabolic Performance, where I worked with NFL Combine, Pro Day preparation training, and a lot of those guys I was working with was actually football athletes for Rutgers University. And that led me to my next opportunity, where I worked at Rutgers University as a full-time intern strength and conditioning coach for a year. Had a phenomenal opportunity to learn from those guys, and I actually met Coach Cesar Martinez there. That's how we connected. Moving on from that opportunity, went to the University of Southern Mississippi as a graduate assistant strength and conditioning coach. Also earned my master's degree in kinesiology and exercise physiology there. I worked with their football program and also headed physical preparation for the men's and women's tennis team at the University of Southern Mississippi. That led me to my next opportunity at the University of Connecticut, where I worked as a full-time assistant strength and conditioning coach with their football program. My primary responsibilities there was to program directly for our freshmen and developmental groups with their in-season and off-season training. I also developed an entire off-season competition incentive-based program for that football program. I was blessed with the opportunity also to head all physical preparation for a women's lacrosse team that went to go play in the Big East Conference Championship tournament. Moving on from there, I had the great opportunity to go to the University of Oklahoma, working with the staff that I work with now as an assistant strength and conditioning coach. My primary responsibilities there headed all the day-to-day operation of our structural load management system. So we utilize GPS units to quantify practice and training over time to prevent our guys from injury and optimize performance. It was a phenomenal opportunity there. Also had an opportunity to develop an entire mobility and stability training program for our quarterbacks in season. Tremendous opportunity, and I thank our director, Coach Benny Wiley, for that. I was brought here in late December as an assistant strength and conditioning coach with this football program under Coach Lincoln Riley. Blessed to be here, fired up. I work directly with our sports scientist, Jack, in quantifying that practice stress. I also work extensively with our video department with recruiting, and I'm the wide receiver and specialist liaison. And I go to tell you all these things not to impress you, not to say that my resume is impressive, but to impress upon you that I had the opportunity to coach a lot of different athletes. I had the opportunity to learn from a lot of great coaches. And in that, I also had the opportunity to fail, and to fail miserably, and come up with greater solutions to develop better systems to develop elite athleticism. Okay, fail, trial, do it again. fail, trial, do it again, and learn and develop. And now I'm at a point in my life where I maybe almost figured out that much. And I still have a long way to go. But I'm super blessed and grateful for all those opportunities and those stops along the way. At the bottom is my contact information, my email. The best way to get in contact with me is, believe it or not, through Instagram, coach_Drew with 2 W's. Shoot me a DM. I promise you I'll respond in about 10 to 15 minutes. If you reach out to me through email, you probably won't hear back from me for about a couple of weeks because I use that primary for work. But let's get into it, man. I'm fired up, man. Let's go get it. Hey, so moving on, training principles. When we talk about programming workouts, it's 4 training principles that you have to fall in love with regardless. All right? Number 1, progressive overload. Gradually increasing the stimulus and the stress placed upon the body. What does this mean? This means day 1, we're not maxing out. The stress has to be gradually placed on the athlete for them to adapt to over time. Number 2, specificity. The SAID principle. Specific adaptations to impose demand. And simply what that means is that the athlete's body is going to adapt to whatever you give it. So if you want to get stronger, lift heavy weight. If you want to get more powerful, lift heavy weight real fast. If you want to get faster, run fast. And the body will adapt and adjust to that stress placed on the body. Number 3, reversibility. This is pretty self-explanatory. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you go a long period without training, you lose the developmental qualities that you trained in the first place. And when we're looking at physiology, it's this thing called the residual training effect. And what this means is, for certain physical qualities, there's a period of time you could go without training before this quality starts to diminish. And it's a little bit different for each quality. For example, strength and aerobic development, 25 to 30 days, plus or minus 2, before that quality starts to diminish. Power development, 15 days, plus or minus 2, before that quality starts to diminish. Speed, 5 to 7 days, plus or minus 2, before that quality starts to diminish. So when we're looking at that speed component, realize if you're trying to maintain or increase speed, you have to hit max velocities at least once every time per week, okay? Once a week. And the last one, the one everybody loves to forget about for some reason, rest and recovery. It's probably the most important principle up there. Rest and recovery. The regeneration process after hard training is where adaptation starts to increase, okay? And when we look at rest and recovery, we're looking at 3 things primarily: sleep, nutrition, and time. Sleep, 8 to 10 hours a night. Nutrition, fuel your body for high performance. And then time. Over time, the body will recover, adapt, and performance will increase. Training programs. A couple questions you have to ask yourself. The FIT principle. Frequency. How many sessions am I training? Intensity. How difficult is that work? Time. How long is that work? Type. What physical quality am I training? What biomotor ability in the human body am I looking to increase? Whether that be speed, power, flexibility, mobility. Training load model, and I promise you this will be the last bit of science until we start to get into it. But this is extremely important to understand whether you're doing training programs, sports practices. This is how the human body adapts to stress over time. So looking at this chart where it says workout 1 to homeostasis, that straight line going across, that is our baseline performance. That is our resting state. That is where we are right now. When we apply stress to the body, workout 1, performance will temporarily decrease and dip below baseline. So now we're looking at this yellow curve here. Train hard, performance dips, we go into a fatigue state. Over time, recovery. Over time, as we recover, our performance starts to gradually increase and go above baseline. This above baseline increase in performance is called supercompensation. And supercompensation is a fancy term for new level of performance. So how does this look? Train hard, fatigue, recover, new level of performance. Train hard, fatigue, recover, new level of performance. And this happens from session 1. So if we're looking at this bottom chart, fatigue, recover, new level of performance. Fatigue, recover, new level of performance. Fatigue, recover, new level of performance. Over time, as we train, our performance starts to gradually increase and we get better. All about getting better, moving the needle. Where a lot of programs are flawed, and I've seen it at the high school level, college level, NFL level. I promise you, you train hard, you don't recover enough. So we're looking at this white curve now. Train hard, we don't recover, our performance stays at or below baseline, and we're not optimizing performance. We're working hard, but we're not optimizing performance. We need to take advantage of the recovery process. Now, we look at recovery, generally speaking, we're talking about 48 hours between hard training sessions, okay? Certain structures of the body, they recover within 24 hours. Some take 72 hours. But generally speaking, we want to put 48 hours between each hard training session. Train hard, recover, new level performance, take advantage of the recovery process. What should our program involve? Keep it simple, smart. Keep it simple, smart. Every training program you design should incorporate each of these categories: sprint, jump, throw, press, pull, squat, hinge, pressing, dumbbell bench, incline bench, shoulder pressing, pulls, chin-ups, pull-ups, dumbbell rows, squats, back squats, front squats, split squats, hinges, deadlifts, single leg RDLs, kettlebell swings, a carry, a core, and a crawl. Carries being some type of farmer carry, core, some type of ab exercise, and then crawl, bear crawl, lateral bear crawl, crab walk, gorilla walk, whatever you want to use. But your training program should involve these here 6 categories in some capacity. Do you need more? Absolutely not. This is enough. Give it to them. Let them train. Key thing to note here, when you're training field-based athletes, the primary consensus of your training program needs to be centered around sprints, jumps, throws. Why? On competition day, I guarantee you there will not be a bench press machine on the field, won't be a squat rack, won't be dumbbells to curl, won't be leg press machines, leg extensions, but I guarantee you during competition, your athletes will sprint, jump, and throw in some capacity. So we need to create them to be masters at sprinting, jumping, and throwing. How do we organize this in a weekly format? This is called the high-low system. It was popularized by a famous Canadian sprint coach named Charlie Francis. And the theory that he came up with is if we train hard at a high intensity, high CNS, talking about the brain, training the brain, asking the brain to do very violent actions with our body. If we train hard, that subsequent training day has to be low to take advantage of the recovery process. So this is that high-low system that he came up with. Train hard, train low, take advantage of the recovery process. Train hard, train low, take advantage of the recovery process. Train hard, day off, take advantage of the recovery process. How does it look? On a high day, a high CNS day, we are pushing the limits. Intensive speed. Why is speed on the high day? Sprinting is one of the most demanding activities the human body can perform. So we put it on a high day. Intensive speed, acceleration, 10 to 20 yard sprints, total volume, 100 to 200 yards. Push the limits. Train hard. Ask your athletes to train hard. Coach them hard. Get it out of them. Pull it out of them. Weight room, some type of Olympic lift if you want. Moving on to the main movements, a press here, your accessory works. Use all those categories that we talked about in the beginning to fill in your accessory work. Push the limit. Train. Go, 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 go. Demand your best out of your athletes on those high days, and then on those low days, pull it back. field-based, extensive, sub-maximal work. Keyword, sub-max. We are not trying to max out here. Keep it low. Take advantage of the recovery process. Sport-specific movement skills, tempo runs, agility at a sub-maximal intensity. In the weight room, upper auxiliary work, abs, FRC, PNF, physiotherapeutic. Those are all fancy terms for saying stretch, mobilize, go see your athletic trainer, get ready for your next high day where we're gonna ramp it up again. Field-based, intensive speed, acceleration, 10 to 20-yard sprints, okay? 90 to 120 yards. So our volume's a little bit lower here because we're still in that kind of recovery process, but we still need to train hard. In the weight room, go get it. Cleans, front squat, accessory work. Use those categories that we talked about to fill in your accessory work. Train hard, push the limits, pull it back down. Low day, field-based, extensive, sub-max work. Weight room, lower auxiliary, FRC, PNF, blah, 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 all those fancy terms. Stretch, mobilize, go see your athletic trainer. Get ready for Friday where we're going to ramp it up and go get it. Load it up. Load the bar. Run fast. Lift heavy. All right? Max velocity. 150 yards to 250 yards in the weight room. Move it fast. Load the bar. Lift heavy. Pull everything out of your athletes. Demand their best on these high days because they have 2 days off to take advantage of the recovery process. The template, this is the good stuff. This is the good stuff. I'm excited. Whoa, baby, here we go. Hey, warm up. Always start with a general warm up, dynamic warm up. 10 drills, no more, no less. You don't need any more, you don't need any less. Increase body temperature, mobilize your joints. When we talk about a general warm-up, if you're increasing body temperature, you're mobilizing the joints, A+, you did your job. Moving on, power speed drills, acceleration mechanics. Now we're starting to prep the body to run fast. Contextual drills that your athlete can perform in a controlled environment. These are your A skips, your B skips, your A marches, your high heel cycles, okay? Your dribbling drills, contextual drills your athlete can perform in a controlled environment. Moving on, jump, throw, bound, output. This is a hard day. Give your athletes an opportunity to train hard. Jumps, throws, bounds, horizontal, vertical output drills before we sprint. Moving on, performance-based sprints. This is where we get faster, okay? Different variations of sprints. If we're working acceleration, we're working between 10 to 20-yard sprints. If we're working max velocity, we're working between 30 to 60-yard sprints, okay? Get faster. Compete. Demand it. Give them an opportunity. Let them compete. The only way you get faster is by running fast. How do a lot of athletes run fast? Oh, let's race, compete. Give them an opportunity to do that. Run fast, get faster, move the needle. Template, extensive field-based. Look at the difference. Train hard, load it up. Give them an opportunity to get better. Load day, pull it back. Warm up, same type of concept. Increase body temperature, mobilize the joints. Great opportunity as a coach to take advantage of any walkthrough, player run practice, sport-specific movement indies, sub-maximal agility. Everything at a sub-max intensity. Tempo runs, linear-based tempo runs. Tempo runs is a fancy term for saying run at a prescribed intensity for a prescribed distance each rep. Run at 60% for 100 yards each rep. That's tempo runs. Why do I like tempo runs? Increase energy system development, promotes blood flow to the body for recovery. As blood flow increases, we're driving nutrients, oxygen to the muscle to take advantage of the recovery process. Energy system development. Capacity. The more capacity you have, the more work you could do. Think about it. The bigger your gas tank is, the more gas you can put in the tank. And being in SoCal, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I paid $75 to fill up my car this morning, and I'm not too happy about it, okay? but you get what I'm saying here. Drive capacity here, train at a sub-maximal intensity, take advantage of the recovery process. Template, high day in the weight room. As far as a warm-up in the weight room, mobility, stability, core, CNS activation. Mobilize the joints, stability, fancy term for saying activate the muscles. Core, any type of ab exercise, CNS activation, fancy term for saying do something dynamic, springy, turn on your brain. Your brain controls your body. Activate it. Central nervous system activation. And then it's time to go. Olympic movement first. Clean, sets and reps, fill it in. Squat, main movement, sets and reps, fill it in. Use those categories that we talked about for our accessory work, and then we're ready to go. Look at the difference. Low day, high day. We demand, we develop, we train hard. Low day, we pull it back. Great opportunity to take advantage of a couple things here. Prehab. So anything we could do from an injury mitigation standpoint in the weight room. High need areas, small muscle activation. If your athletes have any type of movement inefficiencies, great time to work it here on these low days in the weight room. Activate small muscles that we might miss in our high day training. Weight room, upper auxiliary, for example, this is how it looks. Bicep, tricep, shoulder, core. Keep the volume moderate, the intensity is low. Promote blood flow. FRC, PNF, physiotherapeutic, all fancy terms, stretch, mobilize. Go see your athletic trainer, get ready for the next day. Weight room, lower auxiliary, things we want to focus on. Calf, anterior tib. Anterior tib is that muscle in front of your shin. Groin, hip flexor, core, activate it. Keep the volume moderate, the intensity is low. Take advantage of that recovery process. Here we go, sets and rep schemes. Now, important to understand here, these are generic, basic recommendations as far as sets and rep schemes that will be effective for any athlete that you work with where you're at today, guaranteed. As a coach, you can come up with hundreds of different sets and rep schemes, but here we want to keep it simple while optimizing. Keep it simple while optimizing. Olympic movements, rule of thumb, reps under 5. As intensity increases, the reps decrease. As intensity decreases, the reps will increase. Our main movement, opportunity to get a little bit more volume, but same rule of thumb. Accessory work, this is where we can ramp up the volume a little bit while staying as safe as possible. Quick rule of thumb, Olympic movements, primarily used for power development. Main movements, strength and power development. Accessory movements, strength and size development primarily. As you get deeper into programming, these things can get really complex, but to keep it as simple as possible while optimizing performance, there it is. The training session, here we go. This is juicy stuff. Get your popcorn ready, put a little extra butter on it. Here we go. You take that template for success, and now you're plugging and playing with exercises. General warm-up, forward skip, backward skip, light shuffles, knee hugs, quad pulls, okay? Hamstring scoops, world's greatest. Increase body temperature, mobilize the joints. Moving on, power speed drills, A marches, A skips, reflexive A skips, contextual drills that your athletes can perform in a controlled environment. Jump, throw, bound, output, drive it up. Horizontal output, continuous rhythmic broad jumps, vertical output, med ball overhaul throw, knee drive valves, horizontal and vertical output. What is sprinting? Horizontal and vertical output drill. Moving on, give your athletes an opportunity to train hard, and then let's sprint. Push-up starts, 2-point, 3-point starts. Understand, when we're training sprints with field-based athletes, it is extremely important to provide them with an opportunity to start from various positions. Why? In sport, you get knocked down. You got to get back up and chase the ball. You're getting blocked by an offensive lineman. Get off the block. Chase the ball. Starting on your back. Side. 2-point, 3-point. It's all different. If you don't train it, you will demonstrate it at a sub-maximal level in competition. You have to train it to give them the ability to perform at a high level when we go in competition. Moving on, in the weight room, warm-up, mobility, stability, core activation, CNS activation, 90-90 hip rotation, PVC overhead squat, alternating dead bugs, dynamic squat jumps. Juice it up. Get ready to go. Demand a lot from your athletes on this day. Olympic movement, power clean. Moving on, front squat with our main movement. Use those categories that we talked about. Fill in your accessory work. Lat pull down, dumbbell incline bench, dumbbell single leg RDL, dumbbell farmer's carry. Give them an opportunity to train hard, coach them hard, demand the best out of your athletes on these high days. Moving on, low days, look at the difference. Train hard, develop, straight. Pull it back down, recover. Take advantage of the recovery process. General warm-up, walk through PRP, everything at a sub-maximal intensity. Build capacity, a bigger gas tank, okay? Tempo runs at a sub-maximal intensity. Moving on in the weight room. And this is a lower body example here. 3-way calf raise, banded groin, banded hip flexor, plated suitcase sit-ups. The volume is moderate, the intensity is low. All these mobility drills, stretch, go see your ATC, recover for the next high training day. These are my resources and my references. Some people that I highly respect in the field of strength and conditioning. Fergus Connolly, Game Changers, the Art of Sports Science. Charlie Francis, Structure and Training for Speed. Charlie Francis, Super Compensation and Recovery. Mike Aristotle, Science Principles of Strength Training with the Application of Powerlifting. Dan John, Easy Strength. How to get a lot stronger than your competition and dominate your sport. Okay? So, if you want to get this presentation, here's what you can do. Follow me on Instagram. DM me your email. I will send you a PDF copy of this presentation, an 8-week strength and power program, and a YouTube link with video demonstration of every exercise in that strength and power program. All right, follow me on Instagram, DM me that information, and I will shoot that out to you as soon as possible. Final remarks here. Keep it simple, smart, optimize performance. Plan your work and work your plan relentlessly. And then last but not least, and feel me on this, understand your responsibility as a coach. The things you say, the actions you do, the athletes you coach will never forget. So coach with great passion, enthusiasm, and love for your athletes. Because I guarantee you, in some capacity, their life depends on it. Thank you for making me better today. God bless. Fight on.